It began with a sound no one wanted to hear at sea, the crack of gunfire cutting through the morning air. The Seabourn Spirit, a gleaming luxury cruise ship carrying 115 passengers, was gliding through the warm waters off the Somali coast on November 5th, 2005. For 16 days, this voyage was meant to be nothing more than a floating dream, beginning from the historic port of Alexandria, Egypt, and heading toward Mombasa, Kenya. But in the early morning hours, that dream collided with a nightmare. Two small speedboats appeared on the horizon, moving fast and closing in. One of them opened fire, bullets striking the vessel's hull as heavily armed men prepared to board. What followed was a surreal standoff between two worlds: the polished elegance of luxury travel and the raw desperation of modern-day piracy. The crew of the Seaborn Spirit knew they had only moments to act. This was not a Hollywood scene, but a genuine fight for control of the ship. Through quick thinking, evasive maneuvers, and defensive measures, they managed to prevent the pirates from boarding. The passengers, shaken but unharmed, were safe. But the incident left behind an unsettling question. How does a cruise ship, the very embodiment of leisure and refinement, defend itself against ruthless maritime bandits? It's easy to imagine chaos and fear taking over in such moments. Yet surprisingly, these situations often play out differently than people expect. While the thought of being trapped on a ship under pirate attack feels like the stuff of nightmares, the reality is that most pirates are not interested in harming passengers. Their true focus is on money, goods, and valuables. Cargo ships are their primary targets, carrying containers worth millions of dollars. Cruise ships are usually lower on the list, but when targeted, they represent a different kind of prize, an opportunity for ransom demands that could reach into the millions for each passenger. This is why pirates often concentrate their efforts in certain areas, watching shipping lanes and waiting for valuable prey to pass. Some regions have become infamous for these attacks. Indonesia, Malaysia, and Nigeria have all seen repeated incidents, and in 2022, the Straits of Singapore recorded the highest number of attempted piracy attacks in the world. Southeast Asia has accounted for an astonishing 41% of global pirate activity between 1995 and 2013. Yet one area has carved out a particularly notorious reputation: Somalia and its surrounding waters. The rise of Somali piracy in the early 2000s coincided with a surge in armed conflict in the region. Between 2006 and 2009, the Somali civil war intensified, leading to the collapse of central government control. During this period, an estimated 300,000 people were displaced by violence, and armed factions, including warlords and pirate militias, controlled large swaths of coastal territory. Pirates were often armed with AK-47 assault rifles, RPG-7 rocket launchers, and PKM machine guns, which are capable of penetrating small boats and lightly armored ships. Some attacks even used explosives such as improvised explosive devices, IEDs, to intimidate crews and disable engines from a distance. At the peak of Somali piracy in 2011, 212 attacks were recorded in a single year, costing the global economy approximately $18 billion. According to the World Bank, ransom payments totaled more than $400 million between 2005 and 2012. International efforts eventually began to turn the tide. Naval patrols from multiple countries, new onboard security protocols, and increased vigilance drastically reduced the number of Somali piracy incidents. The United Nations Security Council passed resolutions authorizing coordinated action, and multinational naval task forces, including EU NAVFOR and Combined Task Force 151, patrolled the region with warships, helicopters, and maritime patrol aircraft. Pirate skiffs were often intercepted using precision warning shots and non-lethal ordnance, while larger operations involved the threat of naval missiles like the Harpoon or guided bombs to disable vessels. Still, the threat has never fully disappeared. For those willing to risk everything, the potential reward remains high. Why would pirates gamble with their lives for a chance at capturing a ship? The answer lies in both desperation and cold calculation. A seized cargo vessel can mean a ransom worth a fraction of its cargo's value, and a hijacked luxury liner can yield even more. Cruise ships, with their wealthy passengers, have a certain dark allure. floating treasure troves where a single successful operation could set pirates up for years. This shift in targets has forced the maritime industry to rethink its defenses, not only in the waters off Somalia, but in critical trade routes around the world. Modern cruise ships are far from defenseless. They are designed to repel boarding attempts long before attackers reach the deck. One of the simplest yet most effective measures is the installation of anti-climb barriers along the sides of the ship. These surfaces are often slippery or lined with sharp edges, making it nearly impossible for pirates to gain a foothold. Surveillance systems are equally vital, using radar, sonar, and high-resolution cameras to detect small vessels from miles away. Early detection is the first and most important step. Once a potential threat is identified, the ship can change course, increase speed, or alert naval forces. In the event of an imminent attack, ships can deploy other defensive tools. Citadels or safe rooms serve as fortified hideouts for the crew, complete with communication systems to contact maritime authorities. From there, they can coordinate a response while staying out of reach. Non-lethal deterrents are also used, such as long-range acoustic devices, sometimes called sonic cannons, that emit painfully loud, high-pitched sounds to drive attackers away. Even water can be turned into a weapon. High-pressure hoses create a violent spray around the hull, making it nearly impossible for a small boat to approach without being swamped. Explosives and tactical defense are also part of the arsenal. Some ships carry fire suppression systems that can be activated remotely to create smoke screens or deploy controlled flashbang-style pyrotechnics to disorient attackers. The AK-47, with a rate of fire of 600 rounds per minute, and the RPG-7, capable of penetrating up to 330 millimeters of armor, are among the primary weapons used by pirates. Naval forces responding to these attacks often employ Mark 44 Bushmaster 2 cannons, Hellfire missiles, and 20 to 30 millimeter autocannons to neutralize threats at distance. Historical data shows that 90% of successful pirate seizures involve small arms and explosives, highlighting the tactical seriousness of these encounters. One particularly clever invention is the P-trap system, which uses thin floating lines to entangle the propellers of approaching skiffs. As soon as a pirate boat runs over the lines, its engine seize up, leaving it dead in the water. This method is non-lethal but highly effective, buying valuable time until help arrives. If all else fails and pirates manage to get close, ships have well-rehearsed emergency protocols. Once the threat is confirmed, crew members move passengers to secure areas while trained security personnel take position. Many modern cruise ships carry armed guards whose mission is to neutralize the danger while minimizing risk to those on board. Simultaneously, the ship's officers maintain open communication with maritime authorities, providing updates and requesting immediate assistance. In some cases, nearby naval vessels can respond in time to intercept the attackers. When pirates are caught, the consequences are severe. Maritime law treats piracy as one of the most serious crimes at sea. In Singapore, a conviction can mean life imprisonment and caning. In India, pirates can face life in prison or even the death penalty if their actions cause loss of life. Nigeria's Suppression of Piracy and Other Maritime Offenses Act of 2019 allows for sentences of up to 10 years in prison, along with heavy fines. In one notable case, 10 pirates involved in the hijacking of the FV Hailufeng II were sentenced to a decade behind bars in Nigeria, following their capture by the country's Navy and Maritime Police. They were part of a larger group of 27 arrested in the same territorial waters, a clear signal that piracy would not go unpunished. History offers other dramatic examples. The infamous Achille Lauro hijacking in 1985, while not a typical act of piracy, highlighted the dangers of unprotected passenger ships and spurred new international security measures. The eventual decline in Somali piracy, though not a complete victory, shows how coordinated global action can make a difference. These lessons have been embedded into the operating procedures of today's cruise lines. Despite the headlines, cruise ships remain among the safest forms of travel. The number of pirate attacks on passenger vessels is extremely low, and those that do occur are usually thwarted before boarding happens. Modern ships are equipped, crews are trained, and maritime laws are clear. The ocean will always hold risks, but the layers of defense, from technology to human readiness, make an attack far less likely to succeed. The Seaborn Spirit incident stands as a reminder that danger at sea has not been entirely erased by the modern age. Yet it is also a testament to the skill and preparedness of those who navigate these waters. Passengers aboard that ship on that November morning could have become pawns in a high-stakes game, but instead they reached their destination with only a story to tell. For every similar encounter since, the outcome has been shaped by the hard-earned experience of the maritime world, where vigilance never sleeps and safety is the highest priority. In the end, the fight against piracy is a constant balancing act. Deterrence on one side, law enforcement on the other. It is fought not only with weapons, but with planning, intelligence, and international cooperation. And while the romanticized image of the pirate belongs to centuries past, the modern version is no less real and no less dangerous. But as long as ships continue to sail, there will be measures in place to keep them, and those aboard, safe. The vastness of the ocean can be deceptive. Beneath its shimmering surface lies a world where luxury liners and desperate raiders sometimes cross paths. When they do, it is the combination of technology, training, and the unwavering commitment to protect life at sea that decides the outcome. So while the headlines may focus on the rare moments of confrontation, the reality is that for millions of passengers each year, a cruise remains exactly what it is meant to be: a journey of wonder, adventure, and relaxation. And that is why, even in waters where pirates still roam, the cruise industry sails forward with confidence. The systems are in place, the crews are ready, and the law is firmly on their side. In the grand sweep of the open ocean, danger may always be a possibility, but safety is far more certain. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden realities of life at sea and want more true stories from the edge of the world, make sure to subscribe and join us for the next journey. The ocean is vast, and there are many more stories waiting to be told.